Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back with our patron BB Q&A week number 9. An interesting one to get into here today on a Friday here with Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
I'm doing well. We had a short update this morning,
Short
but
update. I actually didn't listen.
well, Rob, you missed out.
First one I've missed.
I, Listen, you don't want to miss one.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
don't
go
want to
back.
screw my streak up. It'll be an
Yeah,
easy one to fix.
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, feeds are back. We have some news. Some
Got some
things to
news.
talk.
Okay, so I thought that what we could do is that we do this every week for the patrons. That I said to the team earlier today, I said, let's do we'll do a feed drop here. So for everybody who's a subscriber to the podcast feed, this one, check out what we have going on here on the BB Q&A. It's a perk for being a patron. The patrons get the link to call in. Survivor Q&A starts next week. Next Friday in this spot, I'll be doing Survivor Q&A with the patrons. Taran and I will be back on Saturday after the update next week. So great time to get in. robbinswebsite.com/patron for these Q&A shows that they're a lot of fun. Plus, one of the many perks you get in our patron podcast feed, including the slop, which will be back on Monday night. The mess magnets join us. Will be an extra sloppy, messy episode of the slop coming up on Monday night before we get into the Survivor draft. And then tonight, we've got an event. It is open to all for the summit. Taran and I and Chappelle will be watching the premiere. We got a sneak peek of a brand new show, The Summit. I haven't seen it yet. We're going to watch it with our VIPs, and we are going to be giving away an assortment of Survivor prizes. Sam, can you bring up the board of prizes? Are we able to do that? Let me know that I might. Hold on. Give him 1 second, he says. All right. So we will do that. Taran, now I woke up this morning. I looked at the feeds. I said, what is this? The Big Brother song. Why are they cutting the feeds in the middle of the night? It doesn't make any sense. And I said, oh, no. I said, let me check Twitter. I'm like, did the feeds not come back? The whole night? What has happened? And I don't know if anybody had theorized that we had another Direfest.
Fan favorite twist, Rob.
Yes.
Let's bring it back.
Bring it back. Okay. All right. Here's some of the prizes we've got for tonight. Okay, for giving away all these prizes for people who are watching the summit with us. RobinsWebsite.com/summit VIP. That's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So be on the lookout for that. Taran, I thought that, people said Jerry O'Connell broke the feeds. The one theory I didn't see, did anybody look at the calendar? It's Friday the 13th.
You're saying Jason Voorhees.
Yes. Jason Guy took out the feeds. So, yeah, unlucky day for the feeds. But then I was like, I started to hear talking all of a sudden. And I said, oh, well, okay, it looks like Leah's carrying a big laundry basket around outside for some reason. And it looks like they're at some carnival. And lo and behold, we have a new HOH, and it's Leah. Taran, what have you been able to piece together at this hour?
Not too much so far. So basically, it sounds like there was a very long kind of endurance HOH competition that took place last night that they decided to hide from us on the feeds that resulted in Leah winning, which would have been very excited to watch. They have also stuck them outside where they must seemingly stay. Not entirely sure for how long, but it sounds like it might be all week.
Yeah. Now, why do you think they cut the feeds? That my theory was that during the last Direfest, we had issues with the wall yellers, and that if they cut the feeds, then make them go outside, then was it like the competition? Did the competition happen all night where it's like that if the wall yellers show up, they have some sort of like soundproof booth or they blast the music really loud, right? If the wall yellers are there.
Yeah, I mean, they have various tactics. I think they just took any opportunity to not have to show things on the feeds.
But
They don't
I
need
mean,
a
they should
reason.
put the whole pressure cooker on the feeds last year. I can't imagine that. I think that the issue is like that if they're in some sort of endurance comp, they can't just like nuke the audio if they need to, like just put on like white noise to drown out a wall yeller. And they don't want to give people the chance to know, hey, if I go to the house right now with my megaphone, I could say, like, Quinn was the best, or like T-Core is working with chemo. Whatever they're gonna like yell over the wall.
Maybe.
I think they're trying to prevent that. Okay. But do we know who the AI assistant is?
The AI assistant?
She said that Ainsley left and said, I have to leave, and my assistant I'm going to go see the world. It's very exciting for Ainsley.
You
And
know,
I'm leaving my assistant.
Very exciting for Ainsley, very dangerous for us. Let's be real.
Yeah. And they said, I need to go. My assistant is going to take over and we'll be visiting the house guests all week. Janky is the assistant, I guess.
Janky seems to be the answer, yes.
Okay. And it's no relation to Janky Grande?
That was my first thought. We'll see. I mean, there might be a Frankie cameo at some point.
I mean, we are in the post-Reindeer Games era, so definitely they have him on speed dial, so we'll see. All right, let's take some calls, okay? Let's say hello to Olivia. Hi, Olivia. How are you?
Hello. Good about you?
Yeah, we're doing great. Feeds are back up, ready to go.
Yes. I saw that. I went in this morning to see who the HOH was on Reddit. That's how I usually do it because I'm on the East Coast and
Sure.
was disappointed to still see the TBD. And then I was just wondering, like, what kind of competition could they have possibly done? I mean, it looks kind of circus themed, and there were some ducks, right?
Yeah, Taran, do you know what the comp was?
There's some speculation that there was some kind of endurance where they were standing on a thing. I've heard like maybe marshmallows or some kind of weird thing. They might have had to stand on one leg. They might have had to stand in a weird way. Like, we're not entirely sure at this point.
Well, I think the new HOH is Team Fun Feeds, hopefully, unless she pulls a Quinn or something. So
yeah. Well, this was the one person here that really was, we had was a wild card of, okay, somebody who wasn't in one of the trios, who wasn't Angela. And, interesting. I just wish Quinn wasn't in jury. He'll be so excited to find out.
Yeah. And Taran, by the way, I enjoyed your 5-minute update. Your cat, I love your cat. My dog is right there.
The dog, shout out Dogs at the Crib.
Dogs at the crib, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we're dog sitting the small one, but they're best friends. So.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Yeah, that is good. Okay. All right. Anything else going on, Olivia?
Well, I was in New York last weekend visiting my sister, and I ran into Maggie on the subway. I didn't get
Maggie Morgan?
Yeah, I didn't get to say to her because the second I realized it was her, we had to get out on our stop.
Yeah.
So I was just like invisible there, but
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I thought that was
I don't know if Maggie listens to this podcast, but shout out to Maggie in the subway.
Shout out to Maggie in the subway.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get to go to the Houston one because I won't be able to go back to New York. But
okay, yeah. Well, we haven't put the tickets on sale yet, but we will be doing a live show in Houston. December 4th is the date, and we'll be sending out patrons the link for tickets very soon.
All right, thank you so much. Nice talking to you guys.
Take care, Olivia. Bye.
Right.
Okay, let's say hello to Jacob. Hey, Jacob, how are you?
Hey, guys. I'm great. How are y'all holding up?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. How are you holding up, Taran?
I'm doing well. This might be a bit of a marathon week because I'm already tired of the plane noises. I'm tired of them over my own head, but it's even worse when it's on the feeds and you're trying to listen to people whisper because there's no space to talk and you're hearing planes. I have bad memories of Direfest.
You know what, though? I'll take it over ramen slurping any day.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Can Chemo get any ramen outside?
I assume so, to be honest.
No, isn't there food restricted?
Maybe. Who knows? We'll have
I
to
saw
find
it
out.
said that they can only eat pizza and ice cream. Sorry for.
Oh, you know what? I did see that. Yeah.
Only eat pizza and ice cream.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is it like disgusting ice cream
Wasn't Ben and
and
Jerry's. I
Survivor
didn't see the
pizza?
label.
Yeah.
Survivor
Okay.
pizza.
All right, Jacob. So what's going on?
I've got a couple of questions for you guys. But at the top of my mind is the fact that we're at the final 8 and we've got 6 women still in the game,
Mhm.
which, correct me if I'm wrong, is a record. And it's really exciting to see, for one. We love breaking trends in this household. And is there any takeaway that we should be observing from like this season, how it's set up, who is in it, anything like
Yeah.
that for like future
Okay.
seasons and women's
Well,
success?
I'm sure that Taran will give you a very thoughtful answer, but let me just say that I'll shoot from the hip here and say that in this season, most of the women, and I'll say maybe I'll put Angela to the side, that this was a house where the women were probably more like conscientious players who were like thinking about what they were doing, and the men, maybe save for Cam, were all there to make television. Women were there to win. The men were there to be on TV.
Yeah, I think part of that is fair. I will say Big Brother 13, I believe, did have 6 women in the final 8. So we're close. We're approaching. If Chemo or Cam leaves this week, they will truly have set a record. But I mean, honestly, I think a huge part of it is just women are winning more comps this season than they usually do.
Yeah,
I think it's the basic answer, and I think it's the most correct one. Especially like women are winning more comps, and they're winning more comps in an environment where men tend to have won way more comps, and therefore men are still being targeted, even though women are winning more comps, and so we're seeing a bit of a lopsided result, I think.
I think there's also a lot of willingness from a lot of the men to play with a lot of women as allies. That we had one bro down alliance at the start that got blown up immediately, which was hilarious. And the opposite of the usual like all female alliance that happens that immediately gets exposed. So maybe, I don't know, I feel like there's maybe a little bit of credit that can be given to Cam, Chemo, and Quinn, but not to take away from the women's success.
How about this?
We're doing great this season.
Is it more of a thing that is more likely that a male player would do to say, put me on the block as a pawn? I got this. I'll go on the block. I'm not worried. I think we've seen no women say that they're okay with this season, right?
I mean, Angela has she's given permission.
She doesn't mean
to nominate
it.
her, but not in the same way, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, even
again,
historically,
I think part of that is this environment of like men feeling like, well, I'll be able to win the comp, but then they're not.
Yeah. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't even think of a woman who's done like put me on the block. I'll go up as a pawn.
I'm sure there have been.
I'm sure there has been, but it feels like that. Like the historical evidence, I feel like, is leaning much more towards like that is a thing that men will tend to do more.
I'm sure that men are more likely to volunteer without any prompting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the women this year feel locked in, and the men kind of feel like a bunch of jokers. And I love to see it. It's very entertaining. I'm thrilled about this.
The shout out Frenchie, all the jokers. Okay. Aaron says Rabina said put her on the block.
True.
And then Steve says Azza volunteered to go on the block.
Yeah. It happens.
Okay. All right, Jacob, anything else going on?
Yeah, I'll let y'all go because I'm sure you have a lot of other people. Just one last thing. I'm going to see Kristen Chenoweth and Alan Cumming tonight. Outside of DC. I'm very excited for it. Is there anything that I should yell at Alan regarding the traders or anything else if I get the
Oh
chance.
boy.
Right.
Well, yeah. I don't know if you get a chance to ask him a one-on-one. This is a little bit of a Renap spoiler, but if he can find out why Juliana Margulies and another actress from The Good Wife didn't talk to each other, that would be a helpful answer to know.
Okay. I'll
very
try
s-
to remember that.
You asked, Jacob, okay? It just happened to be on a day when he came up on another podcast about
All right.
how if anybody goes on the traders, that was the question we'd find out from him. And he's the only person who's willing to spill that tea.
I hope I get the chance. Maybe he'll notice me in the crowd.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jacob.
Cool.
Thank you so much, okay?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Great seeing you.
All right, take care. Bye. Okay. Let's say hello to Mike is back. Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Rob?
Doing good. Okay. Mike effing White. That's right.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, if someone makes a shirt with your name on it, you got to buy it, right?
You got to buy it. But is that a Dolphins jersey behind you?
No, it's actually a Panthers jersey. Luke Kuechly.
Panthers. Okay. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
you got it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
as you know, I'm definitely not the only Mike White that's out there. There's a few of them.
I know. There's I've heard there's others too. Yes. Okay. All right. So Mike, what's happening?
Yeah, just trying to see what's going on with this Direfest style outdoor activity. A little bit interesting. Trying to see how this is going to go this week.
Are the house
there's-
guests miserable, Taran, or are they having fun?
Oh, they are miserable. They are.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
I've seen them like again. I walk past the computer and I see them like going in the pool. I'm like, oh, maybe they're having fun.
No, they're just. This is them right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Anne in the chat says they're getting the house ready for the AI assistant. What do you think of that? Are they
I don't
doing
know.
something into the house inside?
Who knows?
Who knows? Okay.
That was
They
my
haven't,
question. Are they stuck out here all week, or are they going to go inside sometime? Hopefully.
I hope they let them in at some point, but they're
Of
course
definitely
they-
out there for a decent amount of time right now. I mean, the bathrooms are out there. Like there's a whole setup for them to be living out there. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
we'll see.
All right, Mike. So what's happening?
Yes, I had a question for y'all. With Survivor coming up and kind of seeing their model, how pretty much all those people know the game. I'm curious your opinion on what's the right mix in Big Brother. I feel like maybe the All-Star season was a little lame because people knew how to play and how to act. This
Yeah.
season's been so fun because we have a lot of people who don't really know what they're doing.
guys
and
are
that's
so
entertaining.
lame.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what's that right mix? I mean, should you have all newbies who have no idea what's going on? Should you have a bunch of people that are being really strategic? Is that too much? Too many is too bad? I mean, what's the right mix?
I mean, Taran, maybe this is a hot take. I feel like that on Survivor, I think that they might have gone too overboard, and maybe this is like if you were in a coma for 10 years and you woke up and you turned on Rob as a podcast to hear me saying that there's like too many super fans on the show. But I think that you do not even get cast on Survivor if you are not like a 8 out of 10 fan of the show, because the game is so complicated. And I think it would be better to have like a few more people who maybe are don't quite know every single angle and haven't seen at least 25 seasons. So what do you think the right mix would be for Big Brother?
I think it's tough because I think if you only have a couple of people who don't know what they're doing, then like, what are they? They're just like completely out of their depth,
Yeah.
right? Like it just doesn't function.
But in
well.
fairness, the super fans that they put on the show were the people that were the worst at the game this season.
I mean, that's not entirely true. Like, like they lasted a while.
They
as
lasted
opposed
a
to some
bit.
other people that did not, right? Like
Yeah,
Cedric didn't know the show, volunteered for the block, got himself evicted.
that's true.
Right?
That's true.
So it's kind of like, I think we tend to focus on the failures of the super fans, and certainly they have not performed.
But I think that was a
particularly well
little bit
lately.
more of a fluke. I think that Cedric actually, like in a vacuum, I think is probably a better player than Quinn or Joseph.
I agree, and that Cedric, who knows the game more, who's a fan of
Yeah.
the game, does much better, right? And like Lisa wasn't exactly performing up to standard. Matt
True.
was, these are all players that like just didn't quite work, right? So I think we tend to like overanalyze as super fans ourselves. We overanalyze the other super fans
Yeah.
and
But
really,
I think that Matt was a good person to have in the cast. Like, I think that you like having sort of like a guy in there who is like and he wasn't like a bad guy or anything, but he, was, making mistakes, and he, created a lot of the early action. So I think that, having a few Matts in there is good.
Yes, except I think that like Matt is a player where if there hadn't been Angela's and Quinn's and Joseph's to like take that shot at Matt, and if there's too many Matts, then it's just
Right,
a
not too
season
many.
of Matts,
But
right?
imagine you have that guy, and then he also knows the show. Like, if you're gonna
Right.
have that guy, it's good to have that he doesn't know so much.
I agree. I think that like that, and that's the balance you have to find, which is like, there are right now there are people that come in with significant advantages over other players. Like a Cam or a Matt. They come in with the advantage of being much more likely to win competitions, being much more likely to be included in groups because of that, because of their natural, attractiveness and charisma. And so for those players, if they are Cody California, and they've played the game once or they know the show really well, then yeah, things can start to get really boring, especially if they're the only ones that know the show really well. The ideal scenario is that you take people with the natural advantages and you disadvantage them by not knowing the show very well, and you take people with lots of natural disadvantages and you give them the advantage of knowing the show really well. And that's what I think tends to work. And I think that's mostly what we've got on this season. Like the players like Quinn and Joseph and Angela, like they knew the show really well, but like, had some natural disadvantages that kept them from doing anything too clean and easy. And so I think that's what you want players that are really good at one thing and really bad at another thing. That's the ideal casting, regardless of fandom or anything else.
Okay.
I think I can agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So no, it's awesome.
All right, Mike. Good luck this weekend getting back on the right track.
Shout to the cats at the crib.
Shout out to the cats at the crib. Okay. All right. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Let's say hello to Melissa with 1A and 1S. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. End of summer. I mean, summer's
Yes.
basically almost over, but
Yes.
we're here. We're still having a Big Brother season.
We're still out here.
We're still out here. Let's go Mets.
16 to go.
16 to go. It's a tough game tonight, but
Yeah.
let's hope. Ordered my Kellis plushie, Taran, so got that pre-sale. And waiting for that to come. Loving the coverage this season. You guys always do a great job. Just wanted to pop in and just wanted to see, like, how do you think? I think this last night's episode was a little bit of a letdown after the AI arena, and I think the AI arena really added that like extra like energy to Thursday nights that was missing for so long. Like, how do you think they'll take that in the future? Like, do you think we'll see something? Like, do you think Big Brother saw or production saw like a difference that they want to influence that?
Taran, this is like a little bit of like rarefied air in that does production know what to do with a twist that worked? Do they basically say we're going out on a high note? Do they know to bring it back?
I don't know.
I think they do. I think they know it. Like, 'cause I think they probably would have ended it earlier if they didn't feel like it was working.
That's true. I mean, I think there's a decent chance they bring it back. I think like the fear is like,
But they lost Tucker.
We know what we were talking about. We can come up with all kinds of good stuff now. Like like I don't think they're gonna look at it like, oh, we finally hit gold, let's mine this for what it's worth. They're going to be like, see, we can produce gold whenever we
Well,
want.
I would say that if it doesn't come back, that they feel like, oh, that was part of this season's creative of the AI theme, and part of the AI theme was the AI arena. Like, do they look at it as this was such a successful theme, more so than this was the part that worked?
Mm-hmm. I think I have felt that the way they look at the show has not been very they look at it from this like systemic, or they don't look at it from a systemic approach of like,
Mm.
if we change this formula, then we will get a different show. I think they look at it far too specifically, like the cast. It's just about, oh, if this season failed, it's because the cast failed us. It's like, well, I disagree. I think most of the time it's that you structured the game wrong. And I think they structured the game well this season. And so, are they going to just be like, oh, well, we got a good cast on that one, so we'll just make sure we get another good cast next time? Like, I think that's the wrong approach.
And I think that's what you're saying, Taryn, with the structure. I think that's what's been missing for a while, because for a couple of years, like, I still follow the feeds and, listen to your updates every day. But like, I felt as a Big Brother player the past few years a little disconnected in terms of like, oh, Thursday rolls around. We know what's going to happen if you follow the feeds and you're on Big Brother Twitter. Like, this season felt a little more like excitement coming into Thursday, like the unknown, because there was so many elements of like, what if this happens? What if this happens? Which I think has been missing for a long time. But I don't think if like the casuals kind of like feel that way here. Like, I don't know how the casuals felt about the AI arena versus like us as super fans. Kind of, I feel like
They probably liked it when Tucker was winning it and hated it when Tucker lost it.
My mom is a casual,
results oriented.
She was very upset when Tucker left. Very casual energy came from my mom being like, that's it, the season's over. And I said, no, we still got a whole season to go.
Yep.
But
okay.
Wanted to pop in, say hi. It's been a while, so
yeah, good to hear from you, Melissa. Duly noted. Hope it was a good summer.
It was. I will see you in New York for the live show.
October 16th. All right, see you then. Okay.
See
right,
you guys. Take care.
Taran, we've been talking about the season sort of like from a macro perspective, but from the micro perspective. All right, Leah's HOH. Do you have a sense of what she wants to do with her HOH?
Well, this is where things get a little tricky, because she had said last week, a couple of days ago, that if she won HOH, she would put T-Core and Chelsea on the block. And that's why her winning HOH was very exciting, because that is the move of the game.
You said
if she
that
does
was the
that,
port on the Death Star.
It's exactly. If she does that, the whole game opens up. It's a great play. There are a lot of different ways to go about it.
Use the Force, Leah.
It's a very good move. It's right in front of her. She even talked about doing it. The question is, will she actually do it? Because a lot of players have been in this position before, and they back off because it's scary to put up two people from both sides. There's this temptation to go, well, I don't want to piss off both sides. I'll just target one of the sides and ingratiate myself with the other side, aka the Quinn approach. So she's already had a conversation with Cam where she has kind of indicated that she might do that. She back away from the T-Core Chelsea shot, maybe even not put T-Core up at all, maybe do like Chemo and Rubina. With like T-Core as a replacement nominee pawn to take out one of the, which would be not a great play, obviously from Leah. So that's where, like, does she chicken out, or does she make the bold play that would potentially get her in a much better position to win the game? That is the big question right now, and we don't know, because she's barely had a chance to talk to anybody because they're all outside.
All right, but what do you think she should do?
Absolutely. I went through this earlier today. As soon as the feeds came back, I jumped on Twitch. We spent an hour like running through scenarios. I think it's The obvious simple answer was T-Core and Chelsea. Once you run through the scenarios, the complicated strategic answer is T-Core and Chelsea. It's
Yeah.
just
All
the
right,
play.
And then who do you think stays in that scenario?
It's up to Leah and Angela because MJ and Cam vote to keep Chelsea. Rubina and Chemo vote to keep T-Core, which means Angela is the swing vote there. And as long as Leah keeps Angela on board, they decide who stays. I think it's in their interest to get rid of Chelsea over T-Core. But that might depend on who wins the veto because a lot of people would be looking to win the veto or to use the veto. So if the veto is used on Chelsea, then T-Core as the backup target is not too bad either.
Okay. All right. Let's say hello to Jenny. Okay. Here's Jenny.
Hi.
Jenny, what animal do you have?
It's a bald-tailed cat, clearly.
Okay.
No, shout out to all my rats at the crib.
Shout out to my rats at the crib. Rat
the
floaters.
No, this is Roscoe.
Shout out my dogs at the crib.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And no, my dog at the crib is down there. He's actually scared of the rats. So, yeah,
Okay.
some beagle he is.
Jenny, I don't think that anybody's ever called in to any of the podcasts that I've done over these last 14 years holding a rat.
I thought about doing it on the Summer of Survivor, trying to get Shannon to put me on instead of the cat lovers. It's a rat lovers. I would have a cat, but my dad's allergic, so we can't. But
Yes.
Does
okay.
he float?
I haven't tried. He's pretty fat for a rat, so probably not. Come here. Let me see if I can get him to show off his belly. Yeah, he's kind of chunky.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He weighs like twice as much as his brother, I swear.
Jenny, is a rat a good pet?
Yeah, they're great pets. They're super smart. They are like because they're a social animal, they're pretty good at like once you kind of tame them of being like really interactive with you. They give me kisses like all the time. Well, when they're not super energetic like this.
This summer, I heard about hot rodent guys are the new phenomenon.
I haven't heard of that one.
Guys that look like a rodent.
Oh, like hairstyle?
No, like facially.
Oh.
Huh. Yeah, but
like the guy from Challengers.
Oh, okay.
He looks like a rat?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was I had a couple of things
Taran
to
thinks
ask
I'm making this up. This is
listen,
true.
I believe you. That is not the most wild thing I've heard in my life.
Yeah. Forget hot girl summer. It's hot rodent summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nothing compared to DJ Showtime.
Ugh. Yeah. Ugh. That reference last night, I immediately like yelled and covered my face, and my parents, who are major casuals, were like, "What?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. You don't want to know."
Yeah.
Although I thought about sending them your explanation of it because that was great.
I thought I kept that pretty family friendly.
Yeah. That was good.
G-rated movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something that I think it had just occurred to me yesterday when we were, or one of these days, thinking about Angela's position of how, she's sick of being the pawn, and how once you kind of get put in that position, like what Terrence talked about, like it just becomes easier for the HOH because then they're not, if that pawn becomes the HOH next, they have a plethora of targets to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to think of like how a perpetual pawn could get out of that situation. And I'm not sure if this strategy would work, but if they could somehow like spread the word that if they win HOH, they're just coming after the last two people who nominated them. So like going backwards down the list, if that would work to be like, oh, I don't want to be the last person that nominated them, or if it would just be like, okay, well then I need to make sure you go out. And how they would even go about spreading that without coming across too like as Angela called Matt, like aggressive.
Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's tough because that's obviously one aspect of it, of like well, there's a bunch of people they could target. And yes, the problem with trying to counteract that is that then you're kind of like pretty aggressively just being like, if you put me up, I'm coming after you. Which is, it might help prevent you from going on the block. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of HOHs would be like, okay, fine. I guess you're my target then. I guess that's a great excuse for me to just target you. And so that's a little dangerous. Ultimately, the thing is that we've never really seen anybody get out of this position except for Taylor. She's really the only person who has managed to climb out of that hole, and she did it by changing the rules of the game, essentially, by like advocating for herself as a player and climbing a social ladder that had been kicked out from under everyone else who had climbed it, and figuring out a way to make it socially damaging to put her on the block, to target her. Like, hey, I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
And if you put me on the block, then you are participating in a culture that you disagree with. And she had the social credit to do that because she had built those relationships and she advocated for herself really well. So like, it's hard to point people at Taylor and be like,
Do
just
what
do
she did.
that,
Yeah.
because it was Taylor. But I think that like that is our only real example of somebody getting out of it. If you don't have that in you, then I do think, yeah, if you're looking for like a more strategic shortcut, I think that something like that isn't the worst thing in the world to do. I think that like at one point just being like, all right, like after, like, let's say you're Angela and you just came off the block last week. You go, okay, that's it. That is the last time I'm touching the block. The next time anybody puts me on the block, I'm just coming after them for the rest of the game. I'm just going to do everything in my power to go after them because I'm sick of being on the block. And then maybe that gives people pause the next time. And maybe it gets them to target you. But if you're the perpetual pawn, you're not winning the game anyway. So you might as well take a big swing like that.
Yeah, because I think what made me think of it was actually after Felicia being on the recap, and then because she was kind of saying that she was in that same position, she went up like 8 times, which because Taylor was like the record holder for that, right? And then Felicia like broke the record the following season of how many times she went on the block, or if I remember correctly.
It's certainly up there. Taylor is, I think, the person who has been on the block the most, who won the game.
Yeah.
But I do think there are some people who, like, I'm pretty sure Spencer's up there in terms of having gone on the block the most amount of time. So there's definitely a lot of perpetual pawns in the record books for sure.
The only other way I could think of it is just not tell anyone that strategy until you win HOH, and then when you're making your nominations, be like, I'm naming you and you because you're the last 2 people who put me up. And then if the veto gets used, it's like you're the 3rd most recent, and so then it's not like aggressively saying like I'm coming after these people, but just kind of the implication of, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. But that relies on winning the HOH, which Angela's done twice technically. So, but yeah, that was my strategy thing. A couple questions one question I had. So the summit thing tonight, I don't have to do anything except click the link.
Click the link, join us. We're going to watch the episode, and then we're going to start it. And then at each commercial break, we're going to have questions. And questions about what we just saw.
Ooh, we're going to quiz you.
And then the first people to lock in on the chat, the chat, okay, with the correct answer to the questions that have been written, will get the chance to go to Prize Island.
Ooh. That'll be fun.
Sam had said it should be a Yankee swap. Taran, I thought that would be a little too controversial for...
Yeah. Is it what is Prize Island going to be like? We're going to do like some Prisoner's Dilemmas.
No, we have it. Basically, all the prizes are numbered 1 to 20, and you get to pick a door, and behind the door is the prize.
Are we gonna Monty Hall it and have them get
20-way Monty Hall?
Look, if you'll be there, okay. If you want to like mix it up like that, maybe the last round we could Yankee swap it. We'll see. We'll bring up 5 people and do a Yankee swap.
No zonks behind the doors though.
Mm-hmm. No zonk. There's no bad prize.
All right.
There's no bad. I mean, there might be less good prizes, but there's no bad prize.
My last comment was I commented it on I think like a couple videos today, but I caught up on Taran's Survivor 47 cast assessment with the pet peeves, and I just wanted to say how ironic it is that Taran got 15 out of 18 on the pet peeves, the Taran on the cast. His work very good according to this Taran.
Pet peeves.
Would you matched up the pet peeves with the person?
I just ranked the pet peeves.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't remember what his pet peeves were, but
I think there were just a couple
not great.
generic ones, really.
Yeah, I went through. I ranked all the pet peeves. I gotta say, Asia, she did miss the podium, but there were some good ones.
What was the number one pet peeve? Or I'll ask you on the draft podcast. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Jenny. Thank you so much for Taran has pet peeves and you have an interesting pet.
Yes.
Okay.
Next time I call in, maybe I'll bring his calmer brother. Who sleeps a lot.
All right. That's nice. Okay. All right. Jenny, take care. Bye.
Thanks.
Someday somebody's gonna win the pet peeve ranking by saying my pet peeve is my pet. Peeve.
Yeah. Quinn could have been there. He could have done that.
Could have.
Okay. Let's say hi to Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going great. How are you?
Pretty good. CBA, Taran.
Rachel, do you have any rodents you want to show us?
No, I'm not allowed to have pets per my landlord. It kind of sucks.
Lame landlord.
Well, I do. I have this that I'm working on, which has a lot of rodents on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what is it of?
Pokemon.
Okay.
Very fun.
Yeah, I'm doing that for my boyfriend. So that's been something I've been working on for the past couple months.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
Not much. Like I said, CBS decided to give Taran the night off, so that was really nice of them. Do you still just stay up all night?
Yeah, it's so much a night off. I feel like you gotta go and check every 5 seconds to see. Did they come back yet?
More like a morning off because I wasn't spending hours typing up notes.
Rubbing. Yeah.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess you sort of addressed this question with the last person. But my real question, I guess, for this week is how does Leah, being kind of on this island at this point, how does she manage this HOH to go into next week without being the immediate target or the person that the house is just okay, we got to pick her off?
I think it's going to be tricky regardless. And I think that the key to this kind of HOH is accepting that you might still just be a target heading into next week. Trying to play it safe, I think, is not going to work. Yeah. I think that the key here is, and I talked about this a little bit before, but if you try to appease one side and only nominate the other, what you're doing is you're putting all of the power into that one side. You're handing them over the reins because you have power at the beginning of the week. And the thing that people remember the most is what happens at the end of the week, the vote. So if you nominate 2 people from, let's say, T-Core side, you nominate T-Core and Chemo, then that's it. Your power's done. The veto happens. The rest of the week is spent on who between T-Core and Chemo gets voted out. And who are they campaigning to? Not you and Angela. You can't decide. They're campaigning to the other trio, Chelsea, Cam, and MJ. They get to decide which one of those 2 stays. And those 3 are promising the world to T-Core. Hey, T-Core, we're going to keep you. Don't worry about it. We've got your back. They vote to keep T-Core. Chemo leaves. And now they've all bonded over the fact that they kept them and they kept them safe and all of this stuff, right? So the key to this is you do need to take the shot at both sides. And both sides are going to be mad at you at first. They're going to be like, oh man, that's so annoying of Leah. She really turned her back on us, or whatever the case may be. But after that initial burst of like, oh, we're mad at Leah, the rest of the week they are coming to you on begging, Leah, Angela, we need your vote. Please keep us over the other trio. They suck. They're big threats. They can't collaborate because they're working against each other. They're campaigning against each other, and they need your support to stay. It puts the power in your own hands, and you get to control your fate throughout the rest of the week as you do the work to bond with whichever side you're going to side with. That's the way to do it, in my opinion.
Sometimes the riskiest thing you can do is playing it safe.
Well, it almost reminds me of like BB19 when Jess finally got what was it? Was it HOH?
Yeah.
She was kind of in a similar situation, I guess, but it was more of a her against the rest of the house, and the rest of the house was just Paul and Paul's side. Mine, give or take a couple people like Ramsey's. And instead of taking those shots at Paul's side and actually trying to like take a hit at his numbers, she basically just was like trying to appease Paul to get on his good side when she was never going to be.
You can't appease a dictator.
Yeah, it's like you're never going to be in his good graces anyway. So why roll over and die when you do have the power? Because it's so hard to get in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. I mean, we talked about this before. It was the same thing with Quinn. He wasn't targeting Joseph, but by nominating Joseph to appease the rest of the house, he just gave them what they wanted on a platter. And then the following week, when they had power, they had already got what they wanted. So they now wanted a new thing. And turns out that new thing was him. Yeah.
Which is why you don't put your shield up on the block when you're in the HOH.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Well, that's all I got today, guys.
All right. Good luck with the cross stitch, Rachel. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care. Bye. I'd say hello to Catherine. Hey, Catherine. How are you?
Okay. How are you?
Yes. Okay. Can I shout out the dogs at the crib?
Yes, you certainly can. He's asleep.
Shout out my dogs at the crib. Okay. Shout out Flash Gordon. Okay.
Who is a ratter, by the way. And
oh
yeah.
If wasn't growling at the TV, right?
No, he doesn't watch TV. Mm-hmm. Although if there's a sound from an animal, he'll be interested. But no, the New York City street rats are. It can be a challenge some nights when we walk. Let's just put it that way.
So what's going on, Catherine?
But my festy bestie and I are heading to Lake Tahoe on Sunday morning. So anyway, he's my festy bestie. Come on.
Any problem flying?
Well, we have a 3-hour layover in LA. It's just not good flights.
Mm-hmm. But he can go in the cabin with you. That's fine.
Yeah, he goes in the cabin. I sneak him on, sneak him off. Nobody ever knows.
Okay.
So he doesn't move. He's perfect. But anyway, so I did have a question, but maybe this is like a magician can't reveal their secrets. Taran, you're just so impressive on the live feeds when you're doing a reenactment. How do you remember all of that? And because especially now when you can't rewind or whatever, I'm just really impressed by it. And I just wondered if you're going to reveal your secrets to us.
Honestly, this is the honest answer here. People love my reenactments. I think they're not great. They just naturally come out of me as like a minimum effort way to mimic what is in my head of what I saw. And like I watch it back and everyone's like, "Oh man, you did such a good Angela." And I'm watching it back, I'm like, I'm just doing me. I'm just doing me as Angela. And I watch Angela, it's so much funnier. But like people love them. I appreciate that people love them. But yeah, it's just it's a very natural process. It's just like it's just me imitating people because I watch them so much. So it's like
yeah. Just if thinking about it, you don't necessarily do like impressions of people. Like it's not like that you that you do like are doing you don't. And I hope that this isn't taken the wrong way. Like you're not necessarily like a impressionist. You are sort of like you would like channel that person's character and are like a reenactor of
Yes,
like
yes.
you're an accurate portrayal of you are acting as that person, not doing like a characterization of them like where I might do it and then try to like ratchet it up and like do their essence, but I'm like trying to amplify it for comedic effect. You give it like a very realistic regurgitation of that person's energy.
No, I think that's completely right. It's
Yeah.
it's just like I am channeling the vibe of that person through myself.
Mhm.
So that is I think
Yeah.
what happened. So like, you know,
But
when
it's
I'm
very
when I'm
impressive, and the people that you're podcasting with always say yes, yes. So you're obviously getting it right. You're giving the same thing when you're reenacting it that they saw live on the feed. So I love it. I really, really do. So
Thank you.
yeah, I know it's very, very impressive. But yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I'll be in Lake Tahoe. So
What are you doing there?
Oh, well, Flash Gordon and I go to a dog camp.
Dog camp?
Yes.
Okay.
We go. It's actually on the Nevada state line of Lake Tahoe, and it's a 4-H camp. I don't stay at the 4-H camp because I'm flying from New York. I don't take all the bedding and whatever. We stay in a hotel, and we meet up with other people. And at this dog camp, I don't know. I think there's at least probably 75 people. And I have no idea how many dogs are going to be there this time because people can bring multiple dogs. I obviously just travel with one. But some of these people I've known for many, many, many years. And one of them, she's a Survivor fan. So we're going to go watch the Survivor premiere. We'll go to the hotel room and we'll just watch and cheer on Asia. Anyway, and baby Andy too.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah. So no, it is. I come the farthest from New York, but that's because I have a small dog. Other people are coming maybe from Colorado or California, Oregon, Washington, all from the West. But it's a fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
We go hiking in the high Sierras. There's all sorts of activities. It's a great time. So
Jacob in the chat says, shout out to dogs at the camp.
yeah, dogs at the camp.
All my dogs in the crib.
Yeah, there'll be lots of dogs at the camp, and most of the people actually stay in this 4-H camp. So because that's part of the experience. It's just not possible for me to drag blankets and pillows and towels and all that. So anyway.
All right. Well, Catherine, have a great trip. Okay.
All right. I will.
Okay. We'll see you next month.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Bringing a couple of friends and we will definitely be there.
Oh, okay.
No, I always I always come with others. So anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
See you soon, Catherine.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. All right. Let's say hello to Sam and then Tracy. Okay. First, Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. What's new?
Not much. I've never called in before, and so I'm freaking out inside.
Okay, don't freak out.
It's
You
all
got
good. We're all
this.
good.
Okay.
I do want to shout out Rachel.
Dogs at the crib?
Well, dogs at the crib, but also Rachel and her rat at the crib, because she was just thinking exactly what I was thinking, and that's what I wanted to ask. But my other question. Okay, so the first thing that I thought of, Hannah Chatta always says her preseason pick to win when we get bios and all of that. I was wondering from both of you, just kind of based off of first impressions. I know we're going way back, but who is or was your preseason pick to win? I'm curious if they're still around or if you had someone in mind.
Well, we had the draft.
I'm trying to remember.
Let me.
It's like you don't necessarily always get like your pick in the draft if somebody else kind of took them, or
Yeah. So I think I probably would have, like, if we had a I think I probably would have gone Tucker, but I'm looking at the draft order. I'm trying to think of who I would have taken beforehand. I do think that Tucker was probably the person that, and he didn't seem like he was going to be as crazy, but he seemed like that he was like, oh, he seems like he has a good personality. He seems like he knows the show. He's like athletic enough to win comps, but he's not the most athletic guy in the house. We didn't know just how crazy he was going to be. So I think Tucker probably would have been my pick if I could have picked anybody.
Okay.
I think if I'm recalling correctly that that something like Chemo, Cam, and Chelsea would have been like my ideal draft team. Um and uh and so I picked Chemo. I think I missed Chelsea. I got Cam, and then MJ was like a great value pick at the end there. But I mean, I was going for like people who knew the game or were Cam, like big physical dude who's gonna be good socially. And I felt like Chelsea was like, so Chemo was like super fan, really knowledgeable, liked what he was saying. Cam was like the physical, and then Chelsea was the good mix in between. So those probably would have been my three. I
Yeah.
definitely missed T-Core. I did not anticipate that she'd be as good as she was.
And I
or
was a
is.
Joseph believer. I thought he was going to be good.
Chada was a Joseph believer too. That was her pick. And for myself, I was between Joseph and T-Core. There was just something about Joseph. I was like, I don't know,
This is the
there's
mustache.
something there, but I ultimately went with T-Core. So we'll see. I'm still holding out hope.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
She survives this week. It's a big hurdle.
Do we know who she was? Like, did she say before winning, like who she wanted to put up should she be in the position to do so?
Leah?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did say T-Core and Chelsea a couple of days ago. It's just that was a couple of days ago, and things have changed. And now that she's actually in the position, who knows?
Okay. I do have one last question. Just thought of it. Should T-Core and Chelsea be the final noms this week? We live in, that's the reality. Who do you think wins out over the other?
I think that because basically Angela and Leah decide. And I think that they should want Chelsea out. I think that that's the better play. Because if Chelsea's gone, it kind of frees MJ and Cam up a bit, where I don't think either of them run straight to the trio, thinking that they can go there with open arms. Whereas if T-Core leaves, I kind of could see Chemo and Rubina running over to Chelsea and the Cam MJ trio. So I do think that Chelsea leaving is a little better for them. I think that's who Leah and Angela would probably prefer to go out right now at the moment, because they were a little frustrated with Chelsea, but there's certainly a long way to go.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, Sam. Thank you so much. Great first time call. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Let's say hello to Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Rob. Hi, Taran. How are you?
Doing great. What's going on?
I'm happy to jump in on Rat Chat in a minute, but first, a bit of a history question. I watch Big Brother sort of on and off, so I've been watching this season. I watched last season, which means I've heard a lot about Taylor Hale in season 24. So at this point, I'm kind of ready to go back and see what happened there. But we all know like the differences between episodes and the feeds. So I have time for episodes, but maybe not 90 hours of 2-year-old feeds. But I am wondering like if there are like
I don't even know if you can go back and watch all the feeds from a season.
Wouldn't they be on YouTube or something?
Maybe
it's
clips.
Tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. There are some people that try to keep archives, but yeah, it's tricky to find them.
The question is still, are there moments or HOH reigns where the episodes just veer so completely off from what actually happened in the house that like for those moments I should like do a little research, dig in, figure out what actually happened?
I'm trying to think, and off the top of my head, I don't remember.
The first week.
Yeah. The first week is huge, obviously. I guess not obviously, but the first week, it took them a second to figure out that they should be accurately portraying what was happening with Taylor. So they miss out on a lot of the important stuff. So like detailed feed stuff, definitely important for that week. There's some stuff later with Kyle that they did not really portray very well, I would say personally. And then there's also there's a lot of missing Joseph stuff, which if you're a Joseph fan, you might be upset about. If not, you know. So there's definitely some things here and there. I would honestly, I think there are some people that like to listen to various kinds of podcast. Like some people like listening to the episode recaps to get a sense of like the barest sense of what's happening. Some people like to do the roundtables weekly to get like a good overview of what's happening. Some people listen to all of the live updates.
Tracy, I'm sorry. Did I mishear you? You said you didn't have time to go back and listen to the live feed update podcast. You didn't want to go back and stream the live feeds from Big Brother 24.
Oh no,
Oh, okay.
nothing.
Oh, the update podcasts are all still there.
That's what I meant.
Yes, okay, my bad.
So you said Kyle and Joseph, like where-ish in the season is that? Is that like pre-jury, jury-ish, later on?
In general, Joseph is a bit under-edited. Like for the most part, you'll just be missing some of his contributions throughout the season. You'll know it when there's a big thing with Kyle that you'll know what we're talking about, and you'll know to go and look for more detail.
All right, that'll do. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, Tracy. Good luck going back. Okay.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Take care. Bye. Okay. Let's say hello to Uday. Uday, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. What about you guys?
Yeah, doing great. What's happening?
No, just I think we saw. I was waiting for the feeds as well to see who won. And
yes. Okay. What did you think now that they've come back?
yeah, I'm just worried that I hope Leah follows through with the Tico Chelsea plan to put in. Otherwise, I think that seems like the optimal move for her. I think you guys were just talking about it. How if Chelsea goes out, potentially she gets Cam and MJ to work with her.
Yeah.
I think
this is where the good players then they need to like return serve of, okay, so Leah's move would be putting the two players on like, will either of the good players be able to get in Leah's head and say, but actually the real good move is
up like Chemo Rubina and just get get rid of Chemo, then pretty much other than enter every
buy
single
your
person.
time, then you can use the veto on whoever you want.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope she puts in the right people. Otherwise, it's just about keeping herself safe this HOH, and it will not do much other than that. We will see. I think it can be interesting. I really hope. I think Tico Chelsea is the most interesting option right now. Otherwise,
for sure,
it can be a boring week as well if they just get out Chemo. Actually, I was thinking about this because I think I saw Taran was excited about the AI Arena twist coming back and so on. But how do you think now people would have seen this? Like this year, it was a surprise for players. But when some people for 1 year know this is most likely going to happen again, how do you think people are going to game it for next year?
It's a great question because part of what I like about it is that it's kind of hard to game. Like there's not really a good way to exploit it, to take advantage of it. It's more so just like, what are the best ways to survive this? So I would assume that like number one, less volunteers. I would assume. But beyond that, it's, we could see more throwing of HOH because the HOH is not as valuable when the AI arena is around. And you have to nominate 3 people. If there's fewer volunteers, that means you piss off 3 other people, maybe even a 4. And so I think it gets a little tricky, and you might see people more hesitant to take that power, which I think is all again still very good. If I'm thinking of like ways that a big majority could come together and game this, there's really just not like, just put 3 people up that aren't in your alliance and then vote one of them out, I guess. But like at the end of the day, it's not really easily taken advantage of, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely coming back. So we will see who comes up
Do
with
you
what.
have an idea, Uday?
I don't. I think it's like instead of having one target, you have two targets. But then of course, uh, if the like one of them will be safe, so they can come after you.
You kind of got to have 4 targets. You know, you
Yeah,
gotta have
but
you
that
gotta
is
be
the
willing to
tough part.
take out any of the 3, and then if the veto gets used, any of the 4 that you end up putting up.
Yeah, that's why I thought I know Quinn kind of messed up his second HOH, but it was a very hard spot at final 9. Potentially nominating 4 people. It's like half the house, like exactly half the house if you exclude yourself. So yes, I mean, Joseph Norm absolutely should not have happened ever, but it was like a very tough spot to have that final HOH with AI Arena.
Yeah.
So we will see. I think it will be interesting to see if this really evolves the BB game, because I think in the 20s and I think they have fixed the competitions this year as well, and this Leah HOH, in my opinion, definitely proves it. So,
But this is going to be the real test now coming up.
Yeah,
the
the end
last month, this is where it's been the worst for the last 5-6 years. Like, did they fix, easy to fix the first half, 2/3?
Yeah, maybe it's like the Survivor, like the 20s were the dark ages but like early 20s were the dark ages for.
Yeah, around 25, 26 started to turn a corner.
It's just that Philippines were,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just the early 20s of these long-running franchises. It's tough to get through.
Yeah. I think Big Survivor also brought back that 3 tribes thing in Philippines, which brought in some change, and now with Big Brother,
3 nominees.
might be just switching it up a bit. We will see.
Okay, I like that.
Otherwise, the game was like, the end game thing for last few seasons has been very boring to watch. Like since Jackson Holly and then Cody and then Jack last season. I think Taylor kind of won as an anomaly or exception to the rule. Otherwise, like Monte was winning this season as well.
Okay. All right. Uday,
anyway, thanks.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Take care.
Yeah, have a nice
Bye.
day.
All right. We got Connor and then Julianne. Okay. Hey, Connor, what's up?
Hello. How are you today?
Doing great. What's happening?
Too much. Hopefully, I might be able to go to Houston. I live in Oklahoma, so this could work out well. Never been to a live show. Been a patron 8 years, so could finally
Hope
work
to
out.
see you there. Should be a good one.
I'm excited. Okay, so first 2 things. First thing about pet peeves. Victoria Bay Monday, actually, in her preseason bio, her pet peeve was one of her guinea pigs, which she named Peeves. So it's already been done, but I'll send you the link to the article. You can look at it. Had to share that. Thought that was important. And then second question, relevant to the week. I don't think it's been talked about yet, but do you think being outside all in this kind of confined area is going to make Leah less likely to make a big move? Because I feel like last week she's like, we're just going to shut the HOH or be Ronnie and not let anyone in and nominate T-Core and Chelsea. But I feel like with the type of player Leah is, she may actually need like the HOH room to be able to be alone a little bit to actually be able to make a move. I don't know if she wants to do this and then have to be in the yard with everyone the whole week.
I don't disagree. I think that's there's definitely a chance that this makes it harder. I don't know if it's enough to stop her from making the move she wants to make, but it's harder to find space to talk to people. It's harder to build confidence in making a big move when like any conversation about it has to be like, so what are we gonna do this? Are we doing it? We're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it's just harder, Like if the leftovers had to form outside, like it probably doesn't happen.
It's funny that the specter of DJ Showtime gets raised this week because that he was pivotal. It was he was HOH, right? And we saw that, and it was they were all in the backyard, and Kyle had to pull DJ Showtime aside and said hey, it's Joseph, we're gonna take out Joseph. Right? That's how it all went down. And then, in front of Joseph's very eyes, he had to watch Kyle throw him under the bus.
Yep. And we weren't sure it was going to happen because he had to do it in front of him, but Kyle went for it.
Yep. Right. It was Kyle, the Alyssa 2, DJ Showtime, old Quinn, what is it? Turner, and DJ Showtime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now my worry though is that week we kind of got to see that, but a lot of that we did not get to see on the feeds. So hopefully it's not a repeat of that, especially since there's not an inside of the house to watch on the feeds. That's my only worry, is we're going to miss a lot of the feeds and may be surprised. But that's my main question.
Okay, Connor. All right, good questions. Okay.
Thank you, and see you
All
next
right,
time.
take care. Bye. Okay. All right, let's go to Julianne. Okay. Hi, Julianne. How are you? Hold on, Julianne. We don't hear you yet. We might need you to. I know you're having some issues getting connected. Okay. Julianne, let me have you reconnect, and then I'll come back to you. Okay. Okay. All right, and we'll come back to Julianne, and let me go to Christy. Hi, Christy. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to be calling in.
Yeah, excited to have you here. What's going on?
I was just going to ask if you're going to be really brave and try to get someone into Big Brother. What's your strategy? I mean, have you had success with that much? Is there a season you recommend watching first?
I think that Taran might have some more experience with this.
I mean, I think season 10 is a really good one to show.
I believe it's on Netflix.
I think it was on Netflix, at least. I don't know if it still is, but maybe it is. So yeah, especially if it's on Netflix, I think it's a very good one to watch. At this point, the only issue with it is that it aired in standard definition, which might turn some people off. So if if it's somebody that you think might be turned off by that, and you need to go like an HD season, I think you could maybe say 17. You could maybe, I mean, honestly, like, people who are new to the show tend to like the more straightforward seasons, like 16. And I think 20 is a decent start as well. So, I think, yeah, something in those, probably not anything like 21 plus at this point. I like, obviously 24 has a great story overall, but I think like definitely is a bit of a turnoff at the beginning. So the good thing about 20 is that it starts really strong and it doesn't let up for a while, but then kind of ends very limply, which might not give them the best like taste in their mouth. Same thing with 17, where like the ending might be disappointing to a lot of people. So for that reason, honestly, people are gonna maybe raise the pitchforks, but 16 might be a good place to start if you're looking for an HD season.
Okay. All right, Christy, are you gonna get somebody to watch?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm always trying, but I don't know. I think we all have experience with how that normally goes, which is you start to question kind of your taste. But keep trying. I'm impressed if you've had any success. So
listen, it's hard to go wrong with 10 as long as they're down to watch the standard definition.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. Christy, thank you so much for the call. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye. All right. And Julianne's been popping in and popping out. So if we get her back before we wrap things up, I will put her back through. But all right. So here's where we stand. Should be a good live feed update tomorrow as we get more information about what's going on. I'll be there at 11 a.m. Then we've got, of course, the summit coming up tonight. Join us in about an hour and 45 minutes to watch the premiere of the summit. I believe that show is 90 minutes. So it'll be about, we'll probably be on for about, somewhere between the 90-minute area. There's no commercials, but we're going to be having some fun along the way also. And then we've got all of the Survivor stuff kicking off next week, starting with the draft on Monday night. And then got some fun announcements coming up next week as well.
Oh boy!
So stay tuned. All right, let me see. Let's try Julianne one more time. Julianne,
hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Turns out I just had to take out my AirPods.
Okay, yeah, that'll happen. How have you been?
I'm doing good. I'm in my new apartment.
Oh, how is it?
It's pretty good. Been slowly moving things in, but we're getting there.
Better than the BB backyard?
Way better.
Okay. All right. So what's going on, Julianne?
when Angela was taken off the block, everybody was going, Angela Giesling. I get why, but I don't know if I quite sign off on that.
Yeah, I think that maybe that it was a little bit of like tongue in cheek.
Yeah, I know. She's more like a cross between Josh and Vanessa, where they're kind of extremes. Like Vanessa, obviously more strategic. Josh, he's the goof.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's going on? Do you have a question, Julianne?
I think a lot of the questions really have been answered. I'm still like surprised everybody's out in the backyard. It's almost kind of like they're doing a Survivor Week or something.
Survivor Week. Yeah. Julianne, who are you rooting for?
I'm happy Leah won head of household, but like Taran, as you were saying, I don't know if she'll make the right move or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those moments where it's like, you know, you're prepared for disappointment, like that she's not going to win, and then when she does win, you're like, wait a minute, we might still be in for some disappointment.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to see her win?
Make sure. There's not anybody I don't want to win, really.
Yeah. Julianne, how did you think Jerry O'Connell did last night?
Oh, he was great.
Yeah. Did you see him on Twitter all day,
No.
Taran? He's like mixing it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been posting.
He's picking on Scally.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Both but now both Julie and Jerry have both commented about Brian Scally.
Oh my God. I never thought Julie would get mixed like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, Julianne. Okay. Well, thank you for calling in. Okay. Good luck in the new apartment.
Have one quick question.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Is Quinn a patron?
I don't believe so. I mean, sometimes people are, and I know he listens to the podcast, but I don't believe that. I don't believe even Joseph. I think that sometimes people just listen to the podcast, and sometimes people are patrons and we don't know them. Like, you know, Andy is somebody that, you know, people that call into the shows that you know, I get to know pretty well over the years, but I had never seen Quinn or Joseph's name over the years.
Okay, because Quinn gave a shout out to Terrence of all people. I'm like, did he listen to the slop?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I mean, he seemed to be pretty familiar with Mike Bloom's work earlier.
I think patrons have a better track record.
I mean, there's thousands of patrons, so I don't know necessarily. Like he might have been under the radar.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was kind of under the radar for a long time until I called in the first time.
Yeah. All right, but now if you're on the shows, I'm gonna know. I'm gonna know who you are, Julianne.
Right.
Okay. All right,
Taran,
Julianne.
it was great seeing your cat on the feeds or the updates.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Julianne, shout out to all your dogs at the new crib, okay?
Okay. All my
All right.
neighbors.
All right. Take care, Julianne.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. There you go. All right, Taran, what's next for you?
Well, we got that summit thing we're doing.
Yeah,
so
coming up tonight.
That's coming up soon. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow for an update. And as always, come hang out. Find me on Twitch. Had a fun Survivor stream the other day, and we'll keep watching Big Brother and talking Big Brother stuff as well.
Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. If you're just listening to this podcast in our feeds and you want to jump in and be a part of the BB Q&A, the Survivor Q&A coming up next week, you know where to go. robiswebsite.com/patron. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.